Hey, you're watching NH Fitness Lifestyle channel, and if you haven't done already, be sure to subscribe for all my content using the subscribe button below, and also click on the bell button and give this video a like. Each video is all about helping you achieve a fitter, healthier lifestyle in both body and in mind. Also, I'm offering advice on how to improve your habits, your intake, and your movement, as well as help you with future goals, because it's important to set goals, and also how to enhance your potential. Now, on this particular video, this is all about power of posture at the desk. Now, this is a podcast I recorded, which I really wanted to share, because if you're one of these type who do sit down at your desk a lot, you want to be following these strategies. So go and give this a watch. And again, please leave comments throughout it. I'd love to get your feedback. And please give this a like if you really enjoyed it. Okay, let's go. Hi, Rita.
Hi, Nathan.
How you doing today?
I'm great, thank you. I feel so energized and so fresh and ready for the week. So yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Brilliant stuff. Yes, I'm feeling good. And the reason is because I've just corrected my posture. Because today is all about power posture at your desk. So first of all, I think it's really important for me to do a little bit of a backstory, how I've kind of created this strategy for myself, and also how I believe if you do this, if you're working at the desk all the time, well, let's face it, most people are, certainly if they're working from home these days, I feel it's even more important to do these steps. So I will go into them steps, but people don't know this, but years ago now, and it feels like years ago, but I did used to work at a desk before I got into doing personal training. And that was, I worked for a call centre at the time.
Really? Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was Southern Electrics.
Yeah.
Where we used to have loads of cold calls in and we used to deal with their inquiries. And really part of that was we had to sit at the desk a lot. And I don't know if you've worked at these call centres, or for the listener listening right now, but you get graded on auto quality, how long you're on the call.
Yeah.
You're also bits on obviously upselling or obviously giving them a better service. This is all part of it. So as you can imagine, that if you got off your seat too much or too long, you'd almost be told off for it. Or why are you getting off the desk? Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because it went off these sort of targets, you know, and obviously the quality of the call. Anyway, so I created strategies because at the time I used to run to work, which is around about, let's think how many. So for those who may come from Portsmouth in the UK, I used to jog from Portsdown Hill, it used to be called, to if something like Caution, which around about, I think it was around about 6 to 7 miles to there. Yeah. And then I used to get changed at work, do my whole day, and I used to jog back. But something happened. And that was, and you may relate to this, but I had like a little niggle underneath my knee. Now, some people might experience this at the desk, that they might get a little niggle in their shoulder or lower back, hips, whatever it is. But I done what most people did, and that is I just ignored it and just carried on doing it. Mm. I don't know if you've been in that position before where you think, oh, it'll go away, you know?
Yeah, I do that still. So bad.
Exactly. And it got to the point that I was walking around the office like John Wayne, and and someone said, what's up with you, mate? Have you got a bowel problem? And I was like, no, it's just I've got a little niggle underneath my knee. And he went, well, mate, don't you think you should check that out? Anyway, so it got to the point where I checked it out. I went to see someone who was a specialist, and in the end, they gave me some stretches to do. And I learned a lot from that experience. Mm-hmm. So from that experience, which I'm going to relate to with this particular one, is what has developed me to do what I do now when it comes to sitting at a desk, without going into too much detail. So that's my evidence why it works. And in the end, by the way, I ended up doing the London Marathon that year, and I ended up having no problems with the knee. So the strategies, what I learned to do at the desk, really helped me achieve doing the London Marathon. But even more important, I wasn't walking around the office like John Wayne anymore. Okay.
Must have been entertaining though.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So I've actually, for the listener, I've created 3 simple steps what you can do at the desk. So you may want to take these on board as well, and you may want to relate to your experiences in with this. So the first step is conscious correction. So you have to be conscious at the desk of correcting yourself. Mm-hmm. Now I can actually speak to the listener how to do this. So you can do this with me, in fact. So the first thing you need to do.
All right.
So imagine if you're sitting down right now, you want to look at your feet. Okay?
But there's a desk in between.
Okay, well, you might want to move up and have a look at your feet.
Okay.
So just look at your feet and make sure they're straight. Yeah.
Okay.
So are they directly straight? And then your knee joint, is it 90 degrees?
Yeah, can be,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So now you're there. Shuffle it back in. Yeah.
All
So
right.
you know that's correct. So the next thing is look down and then sort of push yourself at the back of the seat. So you make sure the bottom of it is at the back of the seat. Yeah. So that's
Okay.
the bottom part of it. The next thing is nice and straight. So bring yourself nice and upright and pull your
Yeah.
shoulders back.
Yeah.
And then the last thing is, imagine there's a tennis ball underneath your chin, you tuck back.
Okay.
Right? So that's a conscious correction. Now, obviously, you're not going to completely maintain that all the time.
Yeah.
So that's why it's important that you do that through the day.
Yeah.
Because that will completely keep you nice and upright. And you may default back to what you're used to doing. But even if you do that, that changes a lot. And I'll tell you why. Because have you heard of what power posture is?
No.
No.
Tell me. Yeah.
So there's a book by Amy Cuddy called Presence, and she talks a lot about the importance of power posture. But you know, like a superhero, if you used to stand up like a superhero, that would be a power posture.
Yeah.
Now, what's important is she done a study. Amy Cuddy done a study where she divided two sets of people, and they're both being interviewed.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can imagine, if you're being interviewed for a job, what you really want, it's quite stressful, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So what she done, she divided these two people, and one set of people she put into a power posture or power seated posture position.
Yeah.
And the other ones, they just let them get on with it, and they tend to be heads down, looking at their phones and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Cross legs, cross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting their leg over is what I like to call it. You know, they're putting one leg over the other and all that sort of stuff, and that affects your posture as well.
Yeah.
So what in that position, the power posture who went into the interview position, he got asked the same set of questions as the what she called the lower posture, which is ones with heads down and all that. And what was fundamental is it shifted two hormones, okay? And that was cortisol and testosterone.
Wow, that's quite interesting, actually.
Yeah. So testosterone has been proven, if you lift your testosterone levels, it will increase your risk level, that you're willing to be confident enough to take more risk, but also it's been proven that you make better decisions.
Okay.
Whereas the other side is if your cortisol lifts too high, that can also drop your decision making because obviously the stress. Yeah. But obviously we need cortisol, so I'm not saying it's a bad thing to have, but if cortisol is lifted too high, it becomes bad. Anyway, so back to study. So the power posture ones, what happened is it lifted cortisol, dropped cortisol levels down, and it increased testosterone.
Okay, so it decreased cortisol and increased testosterone, which is good
just
for you.
from having the power posture, which bear in mind, it was only a couple minutes before going in the room. Yeah. And therefore, from the questions they ask and the risk question they ask, they actually come out the best. Now, the lower posture ones who went in the room, it done the opposite. Their cortisol levels were high and their testosterone levels were lower. And again, with the set of questions they asked, they weren't as convincing and they weren't the risk takers. So that was just from that simple study. Okay. So not only is it going to improve posture and feeling better, but even on a productivity level, it's going to be much better just by doing that conscious posture, what you do throughout the day. Anyway, that's number one. So the first one, conscious correction, which I believe if you're at a desk for 8 hours, you need to do it for at least 4 times a day. Okay. That's number one. Number two is fundamental, which changes your physiology, and that is just get off your seat more through the day, which is what I did when I was working at a desk. Now, I was the person in my little office where I always went, does anyone want a drink? That's what I asked. And I was like, oh yeah, Nath would get it, which I didn't mind because it got me off the desk.
Yeah.
But also what I did is I used that opportunity to go to the toilet, freshen up, and also where I actually drunk more, I needed to go to the toilet more. So that also got me off the desk.
Yeah.
So obviously we're not talking about hydration here, but that was my strategy at the desk. That because I asked everyone else for a drink, I'd get a drink. I'd always drink more water, and also I'd use the opportunity to go to the toilet. But because I drank more water, it was a bit of an anchor to get me off the seat to needing to go to the toilet, you know?
Yeah, to remind you of getting off. Yeah.
Because you need to pee more, because you're drinking more, obviously, yeah? So the second one is get off your seat more, okay? That's number two, because it changes your physiology. And the third one is do stretches.
Okay.
And either they're just simple stretches, do them. So again, I'm going to wrap all this up together, what I did, but stretch is what you need to do, which I'll think through the day.
Mm-hmm.
Nice simple one is a lower back stretch,
Mm-hmm.
a hamstring stretch, and if you can, an upper body chest stretch. Now, obviously, people can't see me on this podcast, which is why what we'll do again is we'll take you, I'll take you through it on, I'll do like a little simple video for people on the Power Progress podcast group, but we'll go into that in a bit. But anyway, so this is what my strategy throughout the day. I need a wee-wees, right? So then I'll go, right, conscious correction. So what I'll do is I'll save that for after. So then what I'll do is get off my seat. Does anyone want a drink? Yeah, I'll have a drink. So then I'll go to the toilet, obviously wash my hands. Then I'd actually stretch in the toilet, which is because it'll only take a few seconds. So I'd stretch in the toilet. Then I'll go and get the drinks, and then I'll give everyone the drinks, and then I'll sit down and then do my conscious correction.
Yeah.
So that was my technique when I worked in the office.
Mm.
And obviously I'd say minimum 4 times a day, but I end up doing that more, then that'd be great. I'll do it more. But obviously for the listener, if you do that minimum 4 times a day, that's really going to help. Because I appreciate right now, you probably aren't at your desk, you aren't at work at your desk, you're probably at home, which means you won't be using the strategy of asking everyone else whether they want to drink. However, all them strategies you could use. So what do you think? Have I encouraged you to do it?
I feel like when you said people aren't even at their desk at work, they're at home. I actually have a tendency sometimes when I'm low on energy to kind of hop on the sofa and work from my sofa. And I know a lot of people work from their bed as well. What would you say to that?
If they're working from their sofa.
Yeah, like on a laptop or something.
So exactly the same thing. You have to incorporate the power posture.
Yeah.
So if you're sitting on your sofa, it is so important that you set your computer at eye level, which I'm here right now. And obviously, if this was on video, you'd see that it's at eye level. Yeah. I'm also sitting at my dining room table. So if you really have to sit at your sofa, you're going to have to correct your posture. And you're going to have to come, instead of using that strategy of leaning right back, because obviously you won't be on an upright seat, you're going to have to sit on the end of the sofa and still use them strategies.
Well, exactly. Yeah, people tend to like lie down on the sofa, kind of get comfortable, and it's so it's even worse the posture. Yeah.
So if you really have to sit at the sofa, these are the strategies you're going to have to use. I would actually suggest that bring yourself away from your sofa anyway.
Yes.
Because that is a setting where you're going to relax anyway. Now, one of the things what they say is you have to have different positions of what you're doing. So if you're going to the gym, you need to go to the gym, or you need to have an area in your household to work out.
I agree with that. Yeah, absolutely.
If you're going to do work, you're going to have an area where you work. If you're going to relax, you have to have a section where you relax.
Even it's different mental states that you're going into as well, isn't it? So
definitely
it helps all around to kind of have a designated area like a desk to work at and incorporate all of the things that you've just mentioned. That's like such a great strategy that you've given everyone. It's amazing.
Yeah, and the wonderful thing about these podcasts, we always think of other subjects. So just from us talking right now, that is a subject alone. So it might be one what we want to note down straight after this, and we'll certainly cover that podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Which one's that?
Well, we're about being in different settings of different mindset of what you are. So again, if you are relaxing, you need to be here. If you are doing your work, you need to be here. If you are going to work out, be here.
Yeah.
Maybe it's how you dress. I mean, I think you mentioned about that, but that's certainly a separate podcast, so I don't want to go too much into that today. What I want to finish with for the listener is I want you to pop across to the Power Progress podcast group, where obviously I will be posting a simple little video about these stretches to do at your desk. Yeah. So pop across there and please obviously join that group if you haven't already done so. Maybe even leave a comment when you're on the group. It'd be lovely to hear from you.
Yeah, and you know what I'd absolutely love from everyone is to give us some feedback. What is it that you'd like us to cover? Is there something that you're going through that you need help with? Is there anything that you need guidance with? And we're here to help you. And either leave a comment on this as a feedback, or jump in the group like you've said, Nathan, and send us a message or something just to let us know what you're taking from this and whether we can serve you in a better way.
That'd be fantastic. It'd be really good to get a good review, and also, like I said, give us feedback what you'd like us to talk about.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that's me for today. Have you got any more to add today, Rita, with
You've
this?
covered the subject so well. Thank you so much for this incredible value.
Fantastic. Hope you'll come back next week. See you soon.
Have a great day, guys.
Bye.